Good day, ma'am. We are the Group 2 and today we're going to report our topic entitled The Uses of GIS, GPS, Remote Sensing, and Underwater Technologies.
Introduction. Modern technologies such as GIS, GPS, remote sensing, and underwater tools are essential in natural resource management. They help scientists collect accurate data, monitor environmental changes, and make informed decisions. These technologies make resource management more precise and sustainable, supporting the protection of forests, water systems, coastal areas, and marine ecosystems. So what is GIS? Geographic Information System is a technology used to capture, store, analyze, and manage spatial or geographic data. In simple terms, GIS help us understand information through maps. Like for example, makashow si Jess sa locations sa coral reefs, seagrass beds, and fish populations. And by that, it helps scientists to monitor like kung magkakoraging ang corals, track changes in marine habitats, and also identify areas that needs protections. And GIS have five components. First is the data. Data is a raw information that represents, and second is hardware. It refers to the physical equipment used in GIS such as computers, GPS devices, which is ang GPS devices used to record the exact location, like kung mag-record ka sa location sa coral reefs or seagrass beds. And third is software. These are the program used to analyze and create maps. Like for example, ani is kanto QGIS, which means Quantum Geographic Information na open source siya nga ang tanan pwede maka-access o makadamod ang information. An example of GIS application is identifying marine protected areas to conserve coral reefs and other marine organisms. So in simple term, ang data is the information, hardware is run the systems, and software analyze and processes the data, and also the people is who the one who manage and operate it, and last is application, which shows how is it used in real life.
The next slide is uses and application of GIS. First is storing, organizing, analyzing spatial data. So, ang GIS is makakuha siyang data o gamiton nimo sa usa ka lugar. Example, kuan kamanggrovan, so makita dito ninyo og pila ka daghanon or daghan ba ang mangrove na nasa lugar dito. The next is mapping forests, rivers, coastal areas, and marine habitats. So, kuan kanang ang GIS is gamit po siya para makita nato example sa river. So, ang river is makita nato asa siya moagi ug asa po siya molagbas. The next is identifying risk areas such as floods, erosion, or landslides. So, ang GIS is makatabang sa para kuan may baon nato asan dapit na area ang kuan example kuan flood, so ato dapita, so mahibaw nato nga ato dapita is dali ra mo ba. Then the last is planning land use conservation areas and protected zones. So ang mga angay pang protektahan, example sa flood control mo to siya makita siya na to need na to na planuhan. Sa applications, monitoring deforestation and change is land use. So kana mga example kana lugara mangrovan, so gamay nagka-mangrovan dana, so ma-apply nato dana ang GIS para example magtanom ta para na ma-protect sa kuan. The next is managing biodiversity and watershed data. So kaning watershed kaning mga kuan sa example basak, mga source sa basak bitaw kanang tubig nila para kanang tubigan kay kita mga watershed gikan sa example sa kuan sa White Inabanga, kanang White Inabanga kay mamanay source sa kuan kanang mga tubig sa basak sama sa kuan Aris Pilar, Carmen ug Shira. The last is guiding conservation planning for mangrove and marine areas. So moto ang JS is ma-apply po nato para mag-guide para planning para sa kamanggrogan ug sa marine areas. The next is GIS technologies. First is 3D GIS. 3D GIS is kuha na siya kanang example building unsay forma sa building nga na makita niya dito 3D siya, 3D lang siya pagka-forma. And the next is network GIS. Kano siya nagkuan siya kan nagtuon siya sa mga connection sama sa kuan, kuryente o mga dalan, mga agyanan ba nga kung saan pagkuan nila. Next is web GIS. Kano siya kanang ang web GIS is usa ni ka online mapa. Example kana sa atong mga cellphone kana mo na sila GIS, web GIS. So the geodatabase, kanang geodatabase is kuan kanang example sa kandihay kan kanang unsay naada na sa kandihay nga na makita mo na gamit ito geo base makita nimo unsay naada to sa lugar nga na ba. The next is vector GIS. Vector GIS is kuan kuan siya kanang dapat gamit sa linya po hugi sa kuan modelo example mapa kuan kanang kamanggroban sa kuan niya dana sa kadaghanon or daghan pa ba ang kuan kamanggroban nga na matrace nila dato. The next is raster GIS. Ang raster GIS is kuan kanang kuan siya gain of pixel aram sa mga satellite bitaw images or mapa sa yuta. Example kuan kanang example yuta ninyo sa bukid makita dito unsay porma unsay box ba siya or kuan oblong ana example.
So next is the GPS. So what is GPS? So GPS stands for Global Positioning System. It's provide positioning, navigation, and timing services worldwide. In simple terms, ang GPS mo niya makaingon kung asa ta exactly, di makatabang pa niya kung saan pagato sa usa ka lugar. And also, it give us precise time information sa bisan asa sa kalibutan gamit ang signals from space. So for example, if mo open tag apps nga maps sa atong cellphone like Google Maps, makita jud nato natong current location katong blue dot mato ang GPS in action providing positioning services. Then if mo as pud tag direction sa atong gustong adtuan nga lugar, then ang GPS gigamit for navigation. So, how it works? So, ang GPS, nag-work ni si siya pinaagi sa pagkuha og signal from multiple satellites from space. Kaya ang atong cellphone or GPS device mo may responsible para modawat sa signal nga gikan sa satellite. So, ija ning i-compute kung pila ka seconds ang travel sa signal nga gikan sa satellite padong sa atong device. Then, may bawaan na ni dayon ang distance based sa travel time. So, if makadawat na tag-signal from at least 2, 3 to 4 satellites, ma-determine na ni ang atong exact location diri sa kalibutan. Just like, for example, nga if mo open tag Google Maps, kibaw-an ni dayon ang atong exact location, o makita pa nato ang atong location sa mapa. So, their use is an application. So, ang GPS ma-apply ni siya sa land surveying and boundary delineation. So, kani mao ni ang pag-survey sa mga juta o paglimit sa mga udlanan. So, for example, if duha ka magkasilingan nga gusto jud nila may bawa ng kung asa jud ang linya sa ilang mga juta, then ang mga surveyor mo gamit ni sila GPS aron mahibaw-an nila ang mga linya, then magbutang ni sila poste or flag para timailhan kung asa ang ilang linya, din sa paglikay na pud sa confusion. Then second is ma-apply ni siya sa precision agriculture. So ang precision agriculture ay mo din ang mga high-tech farming process nga nagamit og mga technology. For example, ang mga tractor mogamit sila GPS o mga systems nga makina aron mas mo-accurate ang ilang trabaho. The next is pwede pud magamit ang GPS sa infrastructure monitoring like sa bridges and pipelines. So sa bridges, ang GPS magamit sa pagsukod sa tulay sa eksaktong location. Then pag-monitor pud sa paglihok aron makita kung nabay peligro sa collapse. Then sa pipelines, ang pipelines dahil mo ni ang mga tubo nga nagtransport sa mga water, gas and oils from source padong sa mga bahay or factories o planta. So magamit ang GPS sa pipelines kay nagsubay man ni sa location sa pipelines aron mahusto ang inyong alignment. Then pag monitor pag sa mga pipelines aron malikayan ang ang pagka-leakage. So ang GPS nakatabang ni para sa pagsubay sa kung nabay ang damage ang structures aron ma-maintain. Then last is the disaster response and navigation. So ang GPS makatabang ni sa paglocate sa mga tao if may kalamidad o pag-guide sa mga rescue teams. So for example, if naay bagyo or linog, makita nila dito ang affected areas, din makaibaw sila kung asa sila padong para ilang tabangan.
Next is remote sensing. Remote sensing utilizes satellites, aircraft, and drones to collect data from the Earth's surface without direct contact, enabling the monitoring of inaccessible areas. So, kining remote sensing is muna ang paagi sa pagkuha bahin sa Earth nga dili na kinahanglan atoon mismo nga sa kalugar. Instead, mogamit ni sila og satellites, aircraft, or drones para makuha og data gikan sa taas. So, ang satellites og drones makuha og picture sa data gikan sa Earth's surface. Dayon kini nga information is gi-analyze sa computer para makuha ang sakto nga information. So kini nga technology is very useful kaadyo tungod kay makatabang kini sa pag-monitor especially sa mga ladyo o delikado nga areas sama sa bukid, dagat o naay mga disaster. So just like for example sa weathering forecast. So ang satellites makuha og image sa clouds para mahibaw-an kung nabay bagyo nga moabot. So tungod ana makahatag sila og early warning sa mga tao mo nang ang mga tao makahibaw o maka-evacuate. So in short, ang remote sensing is pag-observe gikan sa ladyo gamit ang technology para makakuha og sakto nga impormasyon. Uses of remote sensing. Uses refers to what remote sensing measures and observe. First, monitoring forest fire, deforestation, and land use change. Remote sensing use thermal sensors and optical imagery to detect heat from wildfires. Example, wildfires in California are monitored using satellite thermal sensors and monitored by authorities and government. Loss of forest cover. Example, in the Amazon rainforest, satellite data used areas where trees were cut down. Conversion of farmland or forest into subdivision or cities. So conversion is pagbago sa yuta o himon ngadto og subdivision or cities. Example, if a forest area in 2015 appears green but in 2025 the same area shows building, remote sensing detects land use conversion. Second, measuring sea surface temperature, vegetation, and water quality. So remote sensing collects environmental data such as sea surface temperature or SST. It is important for predicting typhoons. Example, warm ocean water above 28 degrees Celsius in the Pacific increases typhoon strength near the Philippines. It also helps study El Nino and La Nina. Example, satellites detect warmer than normal Pacific waters during El Nino. It also detects coral bleaching risk. Example, if ocean temperature rises abnormally, satellites can warn scientists about possible coral bleaching events. Vegetation, or NDVI. NDVI is Normalized Difference Vegetation Index. It measures plant health. Example, healthy corn field shows high NDVI values or bright green on maps. It also used in agriculture monitoring. Example, farmers use NDVI maps to see which parts of their farm needs more water or fertilizers. Water quality detects sedimentation. Example, after heavy rains, satellites detect muddy water flowing in Cebu coastal areas. identifies algal bloom. Example, satellites detect green color water in Manila Bay caused by algal bloom and monitors coastal pollution. Example, satellite images shows polluted discharge from factories flowing into rivers. Third uses of remote sensing is monitoring climate and environmental changes. Remote sensing helps monitor long-term global changes like melting glaciers. Example, satellites shows the glaciers in Greenland are shrinking every year. Scientists compare images from 2000 to 2025 and see the ice area becoming smaller. Rising sea levels. Example, satellites altimeters measures that global sea level rises about 3 to 4 mm per year. Low-lying areas like parts of Manila Bay experience increased flooding during high tides. Drought in agricultural areas. Example, in DVI satellites images shows brown, dry rice fields in Mindanao during El Nino, meaning crops are stressed due to lack rain. So those are the uses of remote sensing. Next is application of remote sensing. Application refers to how collected data is used in real life. First is large-scale environmental monitoring. Government and scientists use satellites to monitor national forest cover. Example, satellite images detect illegal logging by comparing forest cover from previous years. Track ecosystem. Example, satellites monitor coral reefs in the Visayas to check if reef areas are shrinking or recovering. Measure air pollution. Example, satellites detects high pollution levels over Metro Manila by measuring nitrogen dioxide in the atmosphere. Second is detecting changes in coastal and marine ecosystem. So remote sensing is very useful in marine science because it detects coral reef degradation. Example, satellite images show coral reefs during lighter in color, indicating coral bleaching in parts of the Great Barrier Reef. Monitor mangrove loss. Example, images shows the mangrove forest in coastal Iloilo decreased because of fish pond expansion. Tracking oil spill. Example, after an oil spill, satellites capture a dark slick spreading across the ocean surface. Observing coastal erosion. Example, comparing images from 2010 to 2025 shows that shoreline areas in La Union have moved inland due to erosion. Third application is supporting climate change and research environment. Satellite data support climate modeling. So climate modeling is the use of computer-based mathematical models to stimulate Earth's climate system and understand how it changes over time. Example, scientists use satellite temperature data to predict global temperature may increase by 2015. Disaster risk reduction. Disaster risk reduction is the systematic effort to analyze, reduce, and manage the causes of disasters so communities can prevent losses. Example, flood maps from satellites help local governments identify high-risk flood zones before typhoon season. Environmental policy planning. Environmental policy planning is the process of designing, implementing, and evaluating rules, strategies, and action that protect the environment. Example, government uses satellites forest data to create sticker anti-deforestation law. And sustainable development planning. Sustainable development planning is the process of planning growth and development in a way that meets present needs without compromising the ability of future generation. Example, urban planners use satellite data to decide where to build roads without destroying forests. These are remote sensing platforms or sensors used to observe Earth and oceans. So first, Sentinel-1 SER stands for Synthetic Aperture Radar. Sentinel is a satellite from the European Space Agency that uses SER. Radar sensors send microwave signals to Earth and measure the signal that bounces back. The advantage of SER is that it works day and night and can see through clouds. which is very useful for monitoring oceans. Use in marine environment. Detect oil spills in the ocean, monitor sea ice movement, detect illegal fishing vessels, observe waves and ocean surface conditions. So for example, if an oil spill occurs, Sentinel radar can detect the oil because oil changes the texture of the ocean surface. Second, MODES stands for Moderate Resolution Imaging Spectrodiometer. So MODES is a sensor on the Terra NASA Earth Observing System satellite and Agua NASA Earth Observing System satellite, satellites from NASA. It measures light reflected from Earth to study land, atmosphere, and oceans. So used in marine environment. Monitor phytoplankton, chlorophyll concentration, detect algal blooms, measure sea surface, temperature, study ocean productivity. For example, scientists use MODES to detect phytoplankton blooms, which are important for the marine food chain. Third, ISAT LIDAR. So ISAT is a satellite from NASA that uses LIDAR, stands for Light Detection and Ranging. LIDAR sends laser pulses to Earth and measures the time it takes for the light to return. Used in marine environments, measure sea ice thickness, monitor polar ice melting, measure sea surface height, study climate change impact on oceans. So for example, ISAT helps scientists track melting Arctic sea ice which affects global sea levels. So fourth, Worldview satellite. Worldview satellites are very high-resolution satellites operated by Maxar Technologies. They capture very detailed images of Earth, so used in marine environment, mapping coral reefs, monitoring coastal erosion, mapping mangroves, studying seagrass beds. So for example, scientists can use worldview images to map coral reef damage after a typhoon. So fifth, PlanetScope. PlanetScope satellites are small satellites called CubeSats operated by Planet Labs. They capture daily images of Earth, used in marine environment, monitor coastal changes, detect sediment plumes, monitor mangroves, deforestation, track coastal development. So for example, PlanetScope can monitor daily changes in coastlines after storms or flooding. So six, aerial remote sensing. Aerial remote sensing uses airplanes or drones to capture images from the sky, used in marine environment, mapping coral reefs, monitoring coastal habitats, counting more animals like whales, dolphins, mapping mangroves and seagrass. So for example, drones can capture detailed images of coral reefs in shallow waters. So seven, AUV stands for Autonomous Underwater Vehicle. So an AUV is an underwater robot that moves underwater without a human operator. So it collects data using sensors and cameras. So used in marine environment, mapping the seafloor, studying deep sea ecosystems, inspecting coral reefs, monitoring pollution underwater. So for example, scientists use EUVs to map the deep ocean floor where satellites cannot see. So technology main use in marine environments. So Sentinel, SER oil spill detection, sea ice monitoring, MODES phytoplankton ocean temperature, ISAT, LIDAR, sea ice thickness, sea level worldview, coral reef, and coastal mapping, PlanetScope daily coastal monitoring, so area like drone or aircraft, mapping reefs and marine habitats, AUV, deep sea exploration and seafloor mapping. So these remote sensing platforms help scientists monitor the ocean from space, air, and underwater. They are important for studying coral reefs, ocean temperature, sea ice, marine habitats, and environmental changes.
And next is underwater technologies. Underwater technologies are tools to map, monitor, and explore underwater environments, such as oceans, lakes, and rivers.
They help scientists study marine life, protect ecosystems, and discover resources under the sea. So these are the applications. First is marine research and seafloor mapping. These applications help scientists study marine organisms and create maps of the ocean floor. It is useful for understanding habitats, coral reefs, and underwater mountains. Example is scientists map coral reefs in the Great Barrier Reef to study marine biodiversity and reef health. Second is environmental monitoring and conservation. Underwater technologies are used to monitor water quality and protect marine ecosystems. Sensors measures temperature, oxygen level, salinity, and pollutions. So example is water monitoring ecosystem are used to check pollution and water conditions like in Manila Bay. And the third is sustainable fisheries and aquaculture. These technologies help monitor fish populations and improve fish farming practices to prevent overfishing and protect marine resources. Example is underwater cameras are used to monitor fish cages in aquaculture farms. Fourth is research exploration, oil, gas, and minerals. Advanced underwater equipment is used to search natural resources. And the fourth is resource exploration, oil, gas, and minerals. Advanced underwater equipment is used to search for natural resources beneath the seabed, such as oil, gas, and valuable minerals. Example, underwater exploration tools are used to locate oil reserves in the Gulf of Mexico. And the fifth is pollution tracking and control. Monitoring system help detect and track pollution in the ocean such as oil spills, plastic waste, and chemical contaminants. Example, scientists use underwater technology to monitor damage after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. And the last is underwater archaeology. Underwater technologies allow researchers to study sunken ships and ancient underwater structures without damaging them. Example, submersibles and ROVs were used to explore the wreck of the RMS Titanic. And the next slide is technologies used in underwater exploration. First is ROVs, or remotely operated vehicles. ROVs are underwater robots that are controlled from a ship or boat. They are used to explore deep parts of the ocean, collect samples, and observe marine life where humans cannot easily go. Example, scientists use ROVs to explore deep-sea habitats and study shipwrecks like the RMS Titanic. And the second is AUVs, or autonomous underwater vehicles. AUVs are robots that operate automatically underwater without a cable. They are used to map the seafloor and collect environmental data. Example, AUVs are used to map coral reefs and study ocean conditions in places like the Pacific Ocean. And the third is underwater vehicles submersibles. Submersibles are vehicles that carry scientists underwater so they can directly observe marine life and deep sea environments. Example, scientists use submersibles to observe animals like fish, squid, and jellyfish in the deep sea. And the fourth is the sensor networks. Sensor networks are devices placed underwater to measure water conditions such as temperature, oxygen level, salinity, and pollution. These sensors help scientists to monitor the health of marine ecosystem. Example, sensors are used to monitor water quality and pollution in coastal areas like Manila Bay. And the last is underwater imaging. Underwater imaging uses cameras and sonar sound waves to capture pictures and video of marine life on the ocean floor. Example, underwater, underwater cameras are used to record coral reefs in the Great Barrier Reef. So, ang kalahian din nilang upat sa GIS, GPS, remote sensing and underwater technologies kay ang GIS is nag-analyze sidya and create maps while ang kanang GPS is a tracking devices and ang remote sensing is collect data from above. At the same time, ang underwater technologies is nag-collect sidya og data in underwater. So therefore, GIS, GPS, remote sensing, and underwater technologies is a very huge important, especially in to enhance natural resource management by providing accurate data and real-time monitoring. And that's all. Thank you.